Hello everyone. Today I continue with how to add a list tile inside a card widgets. And in the previous lesson we have a list of list tile and we place it inside a column. And now in this lesson I want to add a list tile inside a card. So then I can customize the card for more beautiful, and we can decorate the card, and the list tile is also decorated. So here the content is by computer and the amount $120. Yes, and now we place the content and we press the amount and press insert transaction. So when you press on tab, it will print to the console that you click the content, and now I want to add the list tile inside a card. So cut this. You cut this code and replace with card. So card is a very basic widgets allow you to decorate the child inside. We can decorate the shape to the round rectangular border. Then the shape here can have border radius, and the color here you can customize the background color to color.pink, and you can set the height or the elevation. It means the height of the card from the Z index. Okay. So the title here, I can set the text style for setting font weight and font weight dot bold and font size and color, etc. You can set. Okay. And now I can set more about the title and the subtitle. Set the subtitle, set the style for subtitle, and here so we get and text style dot initialize text style with font size and color white. Okay, so here, and I copy the color white and paste to the title color. Yes, here or title color. Yes, Command S to reload the program. Okay, so the transaction here is a list of object, a list of transaction, and the output here is a list of list tile. And I add more column here. The column below here we can use a function build widgets list. I refactor this code into the separate function. So I define the list of widgets here. I define a function here. This function return build widget list, return a list of tile. Yes, so it is a function. I define as a function, and I call this function. I separate this code line to become a function build widgets list. Yes. And in this case I want to set the color, the card background color depending on the index. The index is odd or even, so I can increase the index for the list, and I can check the index. If the index divided by 2, so I index -1 divided by 2 is equal to 0, it will be green, otherwise it will be teal. Yes, so we have a two color. We have two color depending on the index value. Yes, and now I add more element by an iPhone X and 1, 2, 3, 4 index. Okay, So for example, buy a book, and I want to, yes. So we have a list. We have a list of list type, yes. And the list type here is surrounded by cart widgets. Okay. Cart is very powerful when you want to customize the child. One cart has one list type, and one cart has one container. Okay. Continuously we can add more by something, and the amount here is 1 2 3 4 5, and press insert in section as a new list. And now I want to scroll this. Okay, so this is the end of my lesson today. Thank you very much for watching, and please download this code here for reference. Thank you very much. Hello everyone. Today I continue with how to create a separate widgets and add to list view. So in this lesson we will separate the widgets and customize the list view. So here in the previous lesson we have a stripped list view. Like here we have a color for odd and even item, and now I continue to create a new file. For example, that file I give it a name. The name of that file may be transaction, yeah, transaction list. Okay, so transaction list means this is an item to contain the list of transaction, list of widgets. So we must import the library for use interface, the material that the transaction list extends from the stateless widgets, because inside this we don't have text field or any other widgets which allow user to enter information. So I use stateless widgets. The transaction list constructor, this is a constructor with the input parameter or input properties. So the property of the transaction list constructor may be okay, here. So we have the list of transaction object, and I want to add the transaction object inside the constructor of transaction list. So open transaction list class, and I define the transaction list, and I add the transaction list to the constructor of this class. I add it to the constructor of this class, and I copy this code line, or cut this code line. Yes, I cut this code line and I place it into the transaction list. Okay. So this function is called build widgets list. Okay. And in build existing list, the zero sum error, so I will fix the transaction list here. I copy and paste to here, and the build function must return a widget, or return the custom widgets or my widgets. So I copy the column here and paste to the build function of transaction list. Okay, so I paste to here, so it will return to column, and the children here is a list of widgets, or list of tile. Okay, column and list of tile. So now in this transaction list I can remove unnecessary, remove this not necessary, some library with warning, so we don't use. And here transaction list dot I import this transaction list, and here I add the transaction list below the button theme. So below the insert transaction button, so here the transaction here list, I call the constructor and I transmit the transaction object to the constructor of the transaction list. Okay, and then I run again. Maybe this I resize to bigger, and then I type by, maybe the content here is by the Android phone, for example, Samsung and Pixel X. Okay, insert transaction. So here we have a new list, item list. The same, the result is the same with the previous lesson, and now we have the improvement that the code will be easier to read, and with separated component or separated widgets. So test by click to the button, and it is the transaction list widgets or the component. Click to transaction list, then I can refactor this code. I have constructor, I have the function to build, I have build function, and maybe there is some problem. What's wrong with this? So what's wrong with this? Okay, I can define this as final because the transaction does not reference to any other object, so it is final. Final mean not reference to another object. So now I want to make this to be scrollable. The column here cannot be scrolled, so you must make it scrollable. So you must use list view. And how many kinds list view are there in Flutter? Two basic. There are two basic kind of list view. The first is list view with children. This is proper for small list view because it load all children at the same time. As the second list view type is the list view with builder function, and the list view here is better because it can load by paging. It only load what you see in the screen. It only loads the items you see in the screen, and it is better with bigger list. Yes. With a long list, it is better. Okay, so I will use two kinds of lists in this case. The first list is list view with children. I can simply replace the column with the list view. Yeah, so here maybe container. Container mean we can customize the inside. So we have a container about 500 pixel, and the child here is a list view. Yes, and here I can resize. But when the keyboard show up, the size is changed and it is crashed. It has some error. And how to fix this? You can fix this by add the main user interface inside a single child scroll view. Yes, you can add it into a single child scroll view by adding single child scroll view with a property of child and paste the column element inside this. Okay, and now I run the program. You can yes, you can expand or string. Yes, string or expand this element or widgets to see for better to see what the component you have in your screen. So here, yes, you can expand. Okay, and see. Yes, So now the problem is fixed. Yes, you add it into a scroll, a single child scroll view, and it is okay now. So in transaction list widgets, you can also use list view with the function of builder, item count, property of item count. Okay, so let's use it. So here it will return back to the list view, and the list I change the function to build list view. Yes, I change the function to build list view, and now I return to list view dot builder and the item builder function. So item builder here is a function with two property, index and the item as a detail item in your list. Okay, so item builder here is a function with context, and context means a reference to the screen, the reference to the screen, and the index means 0, 1, 2, 3, index of the list. Okay, so now we can remove this, and paste to here. I can paste to here, return the yes. Okay, expand to see the detail, and a transaction maybe in maybe the transaction list at the index. Yes, this is the transaction list at the index, at the specific index. Yes, transaction yes at index, and here transaction at the index. Okay, yes, and remove this not necessary. Okay. So here the function build list view will return a list view with each item is a card, and there is list view, and I remove the list view and replace by build list view function. Okay, so something wrong. Okay, so remove this, not necessary. And we also have a property of item count. It's a number of items in the element. Yes, so the item count here is transaction list dot length, or the number of elements inside the list. Okay, so it's okay now with list view. Yes, list view now is better. Then you can insert your information to contain an amount. Okay, and thank you very much for watching this lesson. Bye bye, and see you again next time. Hello everyone. Today we continue with how to use the app bar, and how to add a floating action button beside or at the bottom of your screen or your page. So firstly, I want to customize the app bar. The app bar here, it is something like the header. Yes, the header is the top, and the app bar property of scaffold, which is an object of app bar, and this object has a property of title. You can add a title here. Is a text. Yes, the text is unchanged, so I use constant value. So maybe transaction manager is your title of your application, and the second part is the action. The action here is some button in the header or in the app bar. Yes. So we can use an icon button. The icon button is a button which has icon, and you can press to this. So there are various kind of icon. You can search on Flutter. So icon here is icons dot icon name. For example, icons dot add. We have the add button in the right of the header. Yes. So at the right of the header, right, we can see a list. We can see a list of action, and you can add action here. So here you can copy and paste this code and paste to the action of this action of the icon. No, don't do this. You separate it to a function. Yes, you separate this to a function. For example, insert transaction. Yes, I can call this function maybe insert transaction. I define the insert transaction by public void insert transaction, and the content here, I copy this code in here and I reuse this code. I reuse this code and remove this, and this I call insert transaction. Yes, I use this code inside the on-press, and you must validate the information firstly by checking the transaction object must not be empty, and the content not empty, the amount not 0.0, and it is a validation process. You can validate your input parameter. So we return. Yes, return means break or don't do anything, or stop this function or finish this function. So in view, yes, run the program again. Add a content, for example, buy a coffee. Yes, and price, buy a book. Yes, and add the amount. Yes, and the content here is buy a book, and yes, 23. Okay. Okay now. Then you can add using this button. Yes, you can add the button here is something like the button here is something like the insert transaction. Yes, the same as with the same as with insert transaction below. So we have a two button which has the same action as the same function. Okay. So this dot insert transaction will call to this function. Will call this function. Yes. So now under this here we remove the set state. So maybe it says state to change the value of the state when you type the input. When you in input. Yes. Okay, so remove this. So it must be set state. Yeah, set state mean inside set state, the set state change, then the UI reload. So for example, buy a laptop. Yes. Okay. So now it will show you the result after you press insert. Yes. So you can string or expand, and you can use the float action button. Yes, the floating action button is a button we place at the right bottom corner, and the tooltip here is remind, or the small remind to use that this function is add transaction. Yes. And the try here is selected from icons with the icons dot add. Okay, the icon dot add, and you can on press is a function is which is called when you press to this button and set state. Okay, so this dot insert transaction. Okay, so now the function here has the same with the insert transaction button, and has the same function with the plus icon. So for example, by T. Okay, good. And then you can do similarly. For example, we can do similarly with the floating button. It is the same as with the previous. Okay, so now press. Okay, so this is the end of my lesson today about floating button and some other method. Thank you. Hello everybody. Today I continue with how to customize the list view item with column and row. So in the previous lesson we use list type, but sometimes the list type is not enough for you to customize your list item. And in this lesson we continue by customize the list item using column and row. We use between column and row. Which column and row is important? No, it is the same. You must use sometimes you use column, but sometimes you also use row. So the row and column is the same important and very useful when you want to customize a complicated user interface. So here we have the child. The child here. Firstly, I add it to a row. The row means from left to right. Yes, we have a row here, and the widgets from left to right. Yeah, quite straightforward and quite clearly to understand. So now I copy this here, the list type, the content of the list type, and I paste to here. So I copy the price with style, and I also copy and paste to here. Yes, okay. So we have two text, and the text here I add inside a row. So remove this unnecessary, and you can reload again. Yes. So we have a name and price. Yes, but it's not good. So now you have to customize. You have to customize this. So we can add more. We add a column here. A column means it contains the component or the widgets from up to down, from top to bottom. Yes. Okay, so I add the custom here, and inside the custom we have two text, and the main axis alignment is the align for column. Yes. So start means from top, and the main axis alignment from start means from left. Yeah. The cross axis alignment is left. Yes. So here you can add more padding to this. So if you want to add more padding, you can okay, you must add a text here. You must add more text here. I want to add the amount, and maybe the amount is right, and the text here is date time. So I want to add the date or the time you buy an item. When you buy a computer or buy a laptop, it saves your time to build. All the time here is the date time at the specific or at this time you buy the item. Yes. So you want I want to add more field inside under existing transaction. So you add created date property inside the transaction. You add it more inside the transaction. Okay. So you can call, you can assign the created date to the current date using datetime.now. Yes, datetime.now. Now is a static function of the class datetime, and it gets the current date time. It gets the current date time. Okay, so it pastes the current date time here. Okay, and You can also use the intl library for more detail about this time, and you use the datetime format dot year Monday. So the to string, to convert to string to display. Okay. Yes. And now you make bigger and test. So buy a laptop, and the amount here is $1,200. Yeah. Okay. So we have two texts in a column, and here it is outside the column and inside the row, but outside the column. And now I want the 2000 in the right or at the end. How to do this? To make it at the end, to move it to the end. And there are a way to do this. There are many ways to do this, but now I can use a component like expanded or widgets like expanded. Okay, but firstly you must change the main axis alignment. Means the main alignment is from left to right, and the cross axis alignment is from top to bottom. So if I change this to start here, no change. If I change this to end, we add to the right, and I add a padding inside the children of row. So I add the padding to the padding. Okay, add insert dot all, and I set a value for up, down, left, right, for 4 paddings. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we can see the padding for left and right. The left and right padding. So I can use it. The padding for row. I customize the padding for row. Yes. Okay, the padding for row. Yes. And now I change a little bit. So I string to card, and I change the card to container. I replace card container and try here. Yes, and I can add a padding and just set symmetric. For example, vertical mean top and bottom. Top and bottom mean vertical symmetric. Yes. Okay. So the vertical here symmetric, up 10 and down 10. Okay. And Command S to save and test. So some problem? No. Okay. Is there any problem? No. Okay. And container, yes, maybe cart. Okay. So remove container. Yes. No problem. Maybe something wrong. The row. So here, you can add more padding inside the children of column. You can add more padding by padding add insert only top. Okay. Yes. Top and bottom the same. Maybe better. Bottom may be better. And now you can add more padding at the bottom of the text. Okay. So good. Maybe it is okay now for you to see the interface. So what about the money amount? The money amount $2,000 and $1,200. How to add this? So I use the expanded widgets the expanded widget will get the remain size of the parent widgets. So the remain size, I use the remain size, and inside the expanded we change the alignment. I change the alignment of the expanded to here, so we have a child here. I want to move this to the right by using expanded. Okay, child, and here I use a row, and the children we paste the text to the children, and I align and I main axis alignment. I set the main axis alignment of the row to main axis alignment dot n. Yes, dot n is better. Okay, dot n. Okay, so you can set it dot n and the children main dot n, and you can add more padding. Yes, no, cannot add padding. How to use? So add padding below the text, and the padding or padding or the size box is okay. I use a padding about add set dot only left or right. Okay, left right is no problem. 10 pixel. Okay, so we have 10 pixel at the right. Okay, so now test again. By a copy and 12. Okay, so we have two items. When you add the content here by computer, your mouse here, add here. Yes. Okay, so now I can style for more. Okay, so expanded here is very good for you to customize, and you can also customize using container. Yes, you can use a container. You add a container for the transactional amount, and using the box decoration, and advanced amount to here. Border on, set a border for up, down, left, right. Yes, so here I can use container to customize the money using we adding more border, we add more style of border, we add border box customization at bottom setting. Okay, so we have the result like here. Okay, and beside border we can customize the border radius about 10 pixel to set the border radius. Yes, border radius. Make your text more clearly. Yes, and you can set the width about the width of the border. Border width. The border width here is around 3. Yes, okay, very big. No, and the border here is 2. Okay, and the style, the border style solid. Okay, good. So it is quite nice. You can use multiple kind to layout. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye. Hello everybody. Today we continue with how to display or customize a model button sheet to input information. So we separate the input view to bottom sheet. Okay, so the bottom sheet will contain 2 text fields and 1 save button and 1 cancel button. When you press save, the information is added to the list. Okay, and maybe this is the idea of this lesson. This is the idea of this lesson. So we will continue. We call the form here is a model sheet, model bottom sheet. The model bottom sheet display from the bottom to the top, and it can disappear if you finish. It will pop or disappear. I define a function name on button show model sheet, and in this function we do some tasks to display. So to display a bottom sheet, I use a function, the built-in function show model bottom sheet. Context here is the current context of this component, and the builder here is a function. The builder, the function builder has some parameters of context, and the context means the reference to the current widgets. So the result here, I return. We can return so maybe column. Yes, we return a column, and the column has children's. So the children here, they are two text field. Yes, here. So I can copy this column here and replace to the above code. Yes, to the above code. So let's copy to text field. Let's copy to text field, cut, and I place this two text field to the. Okay, I cut to text field to inside this column, and where to call this on, I copy this function, and at the on press function of the button theme of the flat button, I call this here. So this dot underscore on button show model sheet. Okay, so I show model sheet here, and then I show the model sheet here. Okay, so what about this code line? This line of code are not necessary, and so remove this code. It is unnecessary. The set state is unused. So remove. So here, so I string the text field. I string the text field, and I press the OK button here. I press the OK button here. Save and on press, and we have two buttons. Save and cancel. We have two buttons. Cancel, and the on press. When you press a button cancel, we display to the console that press cancel. Okay. So we print, press save. Yes, here. So when you press insert transaction, the model sheet will show. So I copy this. So I copy this line. And yes, after pressing insert, I copy this line and move to the on press function. Okay, the on press function. On press. Okay, where is the on press? Okay, some problem. Where is some problem with? Where is the problem? The problem here is no media query, which is how. The reason for this is inside the component must be scaffold. Yes, the component must be scaffold, and the material act is the main which is to cover every scaffold or screen inside. So I copy this scaffold and replace to the return. So I replace, okay, to the scaffold. And in main, I replace my app to the material app with the body, title and body. The material app has two property, title and body, and the body here is body on home. The home here is my app, and the my app here is scaffold. Yes, so you can run the program again. Yes, press my app, press transaction to check for my code. Okay, so and next. Okay, so you can see when you press to save and cancel, something changed. So what about the two raise button? Raise button here, we want to add to a row. So I want to add to a row by placing a row, define a row object. And the children here is a raise button. Two of the raise button are the children of the row. Okay. So after Command S to save the code, then you can see. Okay, so we have two button. Yes, press. Okay. Yeah. But two button is small. I want to set the width for about 50 for about 50% for each button, for 50% of the width. So I can set the space around to set the space between the raise button as the same. Yes, and I place every button inside a raise, inside expanded. I can use expanded widgets, and I place the raise button inside the expanded widgets. Yes, so do the same with the second button. So we have two expanded. Yeah, so here expanded child, and I paste the raise button here. Okay, so Command S. Okay, so after pressing S, we see two button here. Yes, you see two button here. And now I want to add a space between the two buttons by adding padding. And I set padding about the padding here, maybe add insert only left about 10 pixels, and Command S to save. Okay, so pressing here. So here we now we have two button with a space between the two button. And now I can place a container outside. I place a container outside, and I copy the row inside the child of the container. And with container we can customize the inside row. Yes, Command S. Okay, so after insert, we have a space. Yes, and you can add more padding property of the container. Padding property of container. The padding here is use adding as inset dot all about 10 pixel. We set 10 pixel for this. Okay, so we have a space from left to right. We have two space for about 10 pixel, and the space between two expanded, we set a padding. Yes, we set a padding to 8, and we can change the color, the text color, the font size, and the background color. Yes, this is quite easy to use. So here you can customize the text style for the text widgets. it sets style for the text widgets. Yes, okay, here. And now we have one to press. Okay, so we have two buttons with the text style, the text color white. The color here is white, and now we can change the color. Yes, the text color and the background color. Okay, and then you can also set yes, the color for the two color. Yes, the save button has a different color with the cancel button. Yes, so here we have a two button with a different color. Okay, and then I can check again to see. Okay, so now test, we can use the size box. Yes, the size box is something good to set the size, and for the raise button you can set the size. Okay, yes, here you can set the size for the raise button. So okay, now it is quite beautiful. Okay, so this is the end of my lesson today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time in next lesson. Hello everybody, today we continue with Flutter tutorial, and in this lesson we will implement action from model bottom view. So in the previous lesson we saw the bottom view, and in this lesson I want to implement this action when I press to save and when I press to cancel. So to do that, I open the container. We have two text view and one container. Inside container we have two buttons, one save, one padding, and one cancel. And now if you want to customize your container, you can customize the box decoration, you can customize the padding, etc. And you can also add more child to the. Okay, so I copy this and I paste to here. I copy the text field, paste to here, and I make every container, the container will contain the text field, and I can customize the text field a little bit. So okay, and now I want to add more. Okay, now okay, so we have three container, and then I save. Okay, now I want to customize a little bit to make more beautiful, and when you press on change state, the content has been changed, or the state has been changed. So the state here is the transaction object. Okay, so now I want to change. Okay, and what about the container? Yes, inside the container we have the size box and the function. When you press to the save, when you press save, it call to the function of insert transition, and then it dismiss after inserting. Okay, so after pressing, you can type your information by computer. Yeah, and then you okay, so then you write your information amount here. Okay, and you can dismiss the bottom sheet using navigator by calling navigator.op context or current context dot okay dot pop. So pop means dismiss the the current navigation has been dismissed. Okay, so here's the same. There's the same with to action, cancel or save. Okay, so running again. After run your program, press insert transaction and type your input information. Buy a coffee, for example, 1, 2. Okay, yes. Okay, and then test the second button. The second time buy a computer, you type $1,020 and $200. Yeah, so you can add more. You can test as you like. You test the program by inputting your information, your content, and your money, and then you press save to insert the new object to an existing list. So press save. Okay, so the same as with 3 button. Yes, you can implement more for checking this. It is the same. Yes, okay. So what about the bottom sheet? You copy this code line and copy this code and paste to the here. I can do the same. I do the same with the floating action button. I do the same with floating button action and the right button of the app bar. So the action of the app bar may be the same. So you copy the code and you paste the code to the top button and the floating button. So you copy this. Okay. So copy the yes, it is not necessary. So remove this unnecessary. So what about this? So remove and replace with, the code on button show model sheet. Yes. Okay, so after pressing this button, you can see the action has been added to the adding the adding action, and you paste on press model sheet the same. Okay, so press cancel, do nothing, and press save and insert new. Okay, so the same. Okay, so test again by buying a laptop and the amount, and here so we have the information as we like. Okay, and so you can move up and down. Okay, so this is the end of my lesson today. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye bye. Hello everybody. Today we continue with how to custom theme and font in your application, and now I want to change the color here. Yes, this is quite simple if you can change the color, but now we have a color. We set a primary color or logo color, and then I reference to the logo color. So we set the property of material app, the property theme. The theme here is an object of theme data, and the theme data has primary color. I set the primary color for example color dot dot red or dot pink. Okay, red or that pink. Yes, and then I refresh to see the application. No, I cannot see the color affected now because you have to set the some color to the primary color. You must set some color of the app bar to the primary color. Okay, so here we have the primary color, and if we want to set the primary color to a specific widget for a specific property, you can use okay, so here maybe here is enough. So you set the color background, the background color for theme.up context. Yes, theme.up context reference to the theme of the scaffold or material app of this widgets. Okay, so it will change the color to here. So if you change the primary color to pink and then refresh, then we receive the pink color applied to the floating button and the app bar background. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's quite a simple to set. So it is your primary color of your application. Your application has a primary, a global color. The color may be like your logo, maybe like your icon, your app icon. So we can change the color to .theme.up context. So the color of the button theme I set to the primary color. So here the primary color here is green maybe. Okay, so I test by typing by computer, for example 1 2 3 4. Okay, so it is a color, the primary color. Yeah. Yes. So you can customize your theme depending on your icon, your logo, etc. So we can also set the accent color here. Yes, so the accent color may be pink. Okay. Yes. And the opacity may change depending on your value. Yes. So okay. Yes. Transition my application, and I change the primary color to accent color and refresh. Okay, so now I yes. Okay, so the accent color. So primary, we always use the primary color mainly, and in this case I change there's not a fight. I want to change the global font size. Yes, you can download the font from somewhere, for example Google Fonts. Google Fonts is good. So you create a new directory, assets. Yes, you set the asset directory, and inside the asset I create a new fonts directory, and I Google search for font, Google Fonts, and click to Google Fonts. So you should use a proper fonts and save to your application, save to asset folder. Yes. So click to Google Fonts and search for some proper fonts. Okay, for example, only language English. Yes, and category may check sans serif. Okay, so sans serif. Okay, or handwriting. Yes, handwriting is more familiar to for user to see. For example, we download this Pafisico. Okay, I download the Pafisico folder to my download, and I can choose more. I can choose more fonts. Also, India flower. Yes, in flower. Download this font, save, and then okay. Wait a few seconds, wait a few minutes, depending on your network velocity or network speed. Yes, and here I extract this folder. I extract by sieve, extract to 2 folder, and I open as to extract, and I copy these 2 folder inside my folder in asset and fonts and paste to here. Yes, okay. So we have two folder, one fonts, one folder. Yes. The standard file for font is TTF. The TTF file, two type fonts. Yes, and you click to check. Okay, so now I open Android Studio. Open. Yes, I open the asset, the asset folder. Yeah, the asset folder, the font folder. Inside this, I open the pubspec. The pubspec file contains all the setting and the library you install in your application. So here, move to fonts. So we have some automatically generated code here, and you can uncomment and see the code, learn the style of this code, and replace the fonts to here. That's quite easy because we have some standard code here, and we replace the standard code to my code. Okay, so after replacing, we have here as we have a set folder, we have the reference, we have the style for. Yes, we can set many kinds of property here. We set the fonts, we set the family. Yes, okay. And the pub get to update. You can get to update. Yes, and save the application. Okay, so open my app.dat, and then we set yes, okay. So maybe some property need to be changed. Okay, so change the style, font size, and I can we can choose a font family, and we type your family font's name here. Yes, we can change here. Okay, font family change to here. Then open the font family and open pubspec for checking the name. Yes, so we copy the name here. The name must be the same as here, as paste, because it is a string. The font family name is a string, and you can paste and run. Okay, remove and run. Okay, now so refresh code and run again. We're checking. Yes, and it's code view for running with the iOS application. Okay, wait a few seconds to see more. We can automatically open this code. Yes, and view your program. Yes, okay. So okay, so we have a new font here. Okay, here's my new font size, new font family, and you can easier to see by move. And this is a font. You can change another font size, maybe passive physical. Yes, you change to physical to see the output. Okay, or you must restart your application to see. Okay, so this is physical. You can change the font size, increase the font size. Okay, the font size has been increased, and it's familiar for you to update. Okay, then type run for testing, run the program for testing. Okay, so move. So here maybe by computer type your information to here. Okay, so if you want to change the color inside the list item, you can move to move your you can open your code in the list item and change. This is the end of my lesson today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.